Jordan Love just walked into AT&T Stadium against the Dallas Cowboys, the number 2 seed in the NFL, in their home stadium. The same Dallas Cowboys that have not lost a single game at home in the regular season. Jordan Love just walked into their stadium, took over their draft, and absolutely dragged them in this game. In the game against the Cowboys, he went 16 for 21 for over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he was also not sacked once in this game. He was very close to having a perfect passer rating in this game. Unfortunately, the receiver dropped the pass, and that ended his perfect passer rating. That's unfortunate and kind of tragic. Seeing Jordan Love get to this point right now is pretty inspirational in my opinion, because Jordan Love went through a lot for his first couple seasons in the NFL, and look at him now. He has won a playoff game for the Green Bay Packers in his first full season as a starter. But let's take a look at Jordan Love came to this point, obviously. Coming out of high school, Jordan Love unfortunately was not a highly recruited guy. As a matter of fact, Jordan Love nearly quit football when he was 14 years old. And honestly, the story behind that is pretty tragic. Jordan Love's father, Orban Love, would practically teach Jordan Love everything he knew about football. As a matter of fact, he would even name Jordan Love after one of the greatest basketball players in NBA history, Michael Jordan. I want to pause this here because I forgot to mention this. Apparently his father wanted to name him Michael Jordan Love, but apparently his mother refused to let this happen. But he still got the name Jordan, so he got part of the name. Anyways, let's continue. Jordan Love would play multiple sports in his early days, including baseball, basketball, and football. And as I said, his dad was right there supporting him, even being an assistant head coach for a few of Jordan's teams. Jordan Love honestly had one thing that some kids wish they could have nowadays: a father who believed in them and a father who inspired them. Although Orban could not have the career he desired for in football, he wanted his son to have the best career possible in his own perspective. Orban was so confident that Jordan Love was going to grow up to be a success that he practically told everybody he knew that Jordan Love was going to be a great player one day. Unfortunately though, his father would not get to experience this, as on July 13th, 2013, Orban Love would tragically pass away after taking his own life. Now, the story here goes that Orban had a medication change shortly before his death. The medication was due to help him with his blood pressure. As you can pretty much tell from what I said earlier, Orban was always a positive guy to be around. You never got a bad vibe around him. You never really saw anything negative about Orban. He was always believing the best for people, and like I said, there was never a reason to have a negative opinion about Orban. However, leading to his death, Orban's behavior would begin to change drastically. Now, they didn't describe the behavior as depressing, but they more described it as very odd and unsettling. Just pretty much really bizarre behavior. One such example of the bizarre behavior is when Anna recalled the moment before he died. She basically said that Orban was just staring at her, standing over the bed. She then would state, he gets this weird goofy grin, almost like the Joker. I wanted to say good morning. Anna basically just said it was just off. She told him he was acting strange and said, don't go into work. Now apparently in 2012, he had some behaviors like this before this, but then he would switch back to his old medication and everything would be fine. But unfortunately, the next time around, it would take his life. Love would basically say the same thing that his mom pretty much stating, our family knew it was the medication messing with his head, not acting like himself, not acting right. Now, like any son who's really close to their father, this would hit Jordan Love pretty hard. It would hit him hard to the point where he almost quit football, the same sport that his father basically got him into. However, his mom would convince him to continue playing football, and Jordan Love also believed that his father would want him to continue playing football as well. Now, Love wasn't your typical quarterback. He was pretty small for his height back then. He would be a backup quarterback in his freshman year. However, in his junior year, he would become the starter. He would become the starter in his senior season as he threw for over 2,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Now, Jordan Love was a bit of a late bloomer in high school, so it's not surprising to find out he only had one offer from Utah State in college, and obviously, that is where he committed to play football. By the time Jordan Love got to college, he had a growth spurt, growing 9 inches long since his freshman year of high school. But he would redshirt in his first year at Utah State, and as a freshman in 2017, he was starting 6 games, passed for over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He would play all his games in 2018, passed for over 3,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He would also be named the 2018 New Mexico Bowl MVP as he knocked off the North Texas Mean Green 52-13. In that game, Jordan Love threw for over 3,000 yards and 4 touchdowns. Love, however, would regress big time in 2019, passed for over 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 17 interceptions. And Utah State would finish with a 7-6 record. Following that season, Jordan Love would announce that he will be declaring for the 2020 NFL Draft. Coming into the draft in 2020, Jordan Love was a very intriguing quarterback prospect. Some guys believe that he could potentially be a very good quarterback. However, a lot of teams noted that Jordan Love was very raw and was going to need some work before becoming a starter. However, Jordan Love would have a really good combine, and a lot of teams would take notice of this, and that is where the interest in him and his draft stock would tremendously go up. During the 2020 NFL Draft, most people knew the top 3 quarterbacks were Joe Burrow, Tua, and Justin Herbert. Joe obviously would go first overall to the Cincinnati Bengals, Tua would go 5th overall to the Dolphins, and Justin Herbert will go 6th overall to the Chargers. Now, while it would be a few good picks later, Jordan Love would eventually hear his name in the first round. The Green Bay Packers would trade the 26th overall to the Miami Dolphins to select Jordan Love with the 26th overall pick. Now, this move pretty much shocked everybody around the NFL because Aaron Rodgers had literally just won the MVP. He just won the MVP, and the Packers just took a quarterback in the first round. And this pick apparently made Aaron Rodgers pretty upset. The Packers were a team that just made the NFC Championship prior to this pick. And instead of adding help to this team, they added a quarterback in Jordan Love. Rodgers pretty much said he had no issue with Jordan Love. He said he liked him, but he did have a problem with the pick. Nonetheless, though, that pick is history now. But for the Packers, this route is pretty much nothing new. Brett Favre was still a really good quarterback for the Packers when they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers will have to sit a couple years before finally becoming a starter. In fact, there was rumors in 2007 that Aaron Rodgers would be traded to the Oakland Raiders in exchange for Randy Moss. Obviously, that didn't happen. Just like before Jordan Love finally became a starter for the Packers, he would also be in trade rumors for multiple seasons. But obviously, I'm getting too far ahead. From 2020 to 2022, Jordan Love would only start 1 game for the Green Bay Packers. Primarily, Jordan Love would come in and play garbage time when the Packers were already winning games. However, he would start 1 game on November 7, 2021 against the Chiefs after Aaron Rodgers tested positive for COVID-19. In that game, Love went 19 for 34 for 134 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He would also relieve Aaron Rodgers after he got injured in the Eagles game in 2022. In that game, he completed 6 of his 9 passes for 113 yards and 1 touchdown. While he had a really good showing in that game, in his couple of minutes he played, the Packers were not able to come back against the Eagles. Then in 2023, the moment we all know would officially finally come. During an episode of the Pat McAfee Show, Aaron Rodgers would announce that he did intend to play for the New York Jets in the 2023 season. And a couple weeks later, the trade would be official, sending Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets. Right after this, instead of giving Jordan Love a 5th-year option, they would extend him for 1 more year to a deal worth $22.5 million. Jordan Love was going to get his time finally as a starter for the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love will come out the gate swinging against the Chicago Bears, throwing for over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. He would have another good performance against the Falcons, throwing for over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. In his first few weeks as a starter, Jordan Love was 2-1. However, after starting 2-1, the wheels would start to fall off for the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love, as he would lose 4 straight games to the Lions, the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Vikings. During that span, Jordan Love threw 4 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Eventually, he would get back on a winning streak though, knocking off the Chargers, the Lions, and then the Chiefs. but then he would lose 2 straight games to the Giants and the Buccaneers. But once again, he would go back on another winning streak, knocking off the Panthers, a thriller, blowing out the Vikings, and also knocking off the Bears to help them clinch a playoff berth for the first time in the Jordan Love era. Jordan Love would finish the regular season throwing for over 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, receptions. He would also rush for 4 touchdowns as well. Now we come to the present day where he knocked off the Cowboys in his first playoff game in his first full season as a starter. And this is crazy to think about because a couple months ago, there was a report that said that the Packers GM was unsure if Jordan Love was their future. Is it safe to say that he's not unsure anymore? But Jordan Love played like one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL this season, outplaying guys such as Matthew Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, Derek Carr, Tua Tagovailoa, and also Patrick Mahomes. While Jordan Love had a tragedy that almost made him quit football entirely, that same tragedy to this day is one of the main reasons that has kept him going through football and kept him going to this day. If the 14-year-old Jordan Love decided to quit football, we might never got to see this performance he had to this day. And in case I haven't said it yet, rest in peace to Orban Love. Your son is officially one of those guys. You have to imagine the sky is officially the limit for Jordan Love. And with him outplaying one of the better defense in the NFL, you have to imagine that he's only going to get better in his NFL career with this experience. And I think it's safe to say that Jordan Love is officially a top 10 quarterback. Controversial right now? Probably. Will it age well? I think it will. We'll just have to wait and find out. But that is going to do it for this video. Make sure if you haven't yet, you subscribe to my channel and tap the bell icon for future football content. Also, if you haven't yet, make sure you follow me on all my social medias down below in the description. Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, all that's down below in the description. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. That's a wrap here. Peace.